Annabelle is a name that sends chills down the spine of horror fans around the world. Inspired by true events, the story centers on a seemingly innocent porcelain doll that becomes the vessel for a malevolent spirit. The legend of Annabelle began when a young couple received the doll as a gift, only to experience a series of terrifying and unexplained occurrences. The tale quickly gained notoriety, eventually inspiring filmmakers to bring Annabelle's haunting legacy to the big screen. In the quiet suburbs of a small town, a young couple named Mia and John were preparing to welcome their first child. Life was peaceful, filled with anticipation and hope. Among their cherished possessions was a collection of vintage dolls, a hobby Mia had enjoyed since childhood. One day, John surprised Mia with a rare find, an antique porcelain doll, dressed in a delicate white gown, with long braided hair and striking glass eyes. There was something unusual about the doll, something that drew the eye and held it. Mia was delighted, placing the new addition in the nursery, unaware of the dark history that clung to it. As the days passed, subtle changes began to occur in the house. At first, it was nothing more than the sense of being watched, a chill in the air, or the faint sound of footsteps echoing in empty rooms. Mia dismissed these feelings, blaming them on nerves and the stress of impending motherhood. But soon, the occurrences became harder to ignore. Doors would creak open on their own, lights flickered without explanation, and the doll, Annabelle, as Mia had started to call her, seemed to move from place to place, never quite where she had been left. One evening, as Mia sat alone in the nursery, she noticed Annabelle's position had changed. The doll was now facing the window, her glassy eyes fixed on the street outside. Mia frowned, certain she had left Annabelle on the rocking chair, facing the crib. She picked up the doll and returned her to her original spot, thinking little of it. But the next morning, Annabelle was back by the window, her face pressed against the glass as if she were watching for something or someone. Disturbed, Mia confided in John, who tried to reassure her. "It's just your imagination," he said. "Maybe you moved her and forgot." But Mia knew she hadn't. The unease grew, seeping into the corners of their home. Shadows seemed to linger longer than they should, and whispers echoed in the dead of night. One night, Mia awoke to the sound of crying. She hurried to the nursery, only to find it empty. The crib was untouched, and Annabelle sat on the floor, her dress stained with something dark. Mia's heart pounded as she picked up the doll, feeling an icy coldness radiate from its porcelain skin. She tried to shake off the fear, but it clung to her, a constant presence in the house. Desperate for answers, Mia began researching the doll's origins. She discovered that Annabelle had once belonged to a young girl who lived in the area decades ago. The girl had died under mysterious circumstances, and the doll had changed hands many times since, each owner reporting strange occurrences and misfortune. The more Mia learned, the more she realized that Annabelle was not just an ordinary doll. She was a vessel for something far more sinister. Mia reached out to a local priest, Father Perez, who agreed to visit the house. As he entered the nursery, he immediately sensed a heavy, oppressive presence. He prayed over the doll, sprinkling holy water and reciting blessings. Annabelle's eyes seemed to darken, and the room grew colder. Father Perez warned Mia and John that the doll was a conduit for a malevolent spirit, one that fed on fear and chaos. He advised them to keep Annabelle locked away and to avoid interacting with her. Despite their efforts, the disturbances intensified. Objects flew across rooms, doors slammed shut, and the couple was plagued by nightmares. Mia became convinced that Annabelle wanted something, perhaps their unborn child. In a moment of desperation, John decided to dispose of the doll. He drove to a remote field, dug a deep hole, and buried Annabelle, hoping to end the nightmare once and for all. For a brief time, peace returned to their lives. The house felt lighter, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. But one evening, as Mia prepared for bed, she heard a faint tapping at the window. She pulled back the curtain and gasped in terror. There, sitting on the windowsill, was Annabelle, her dress caked in dirt, her eyes fixed on Mia with a cold, unblinking stare. Terrified, Mia and John sought help from paranormal investigators. The team set up cameras and recording equipment throughout the house, determined to capture evidence of the haunting. As night fell, the investigators witnessed objects moving on their own, chilling whispers, and the unmistakable sound of a child's laughter echoing from empty rooms. Most disturbing of all was the footage of Annabelle, her head turning slowly to follow the movements of those in the room, her lips parting in a sinister smile. The investigators concluded that the spirit attached to Annabelle was powerful and dangerous, drawn to the energy of the living. They recommended removing the doll from the home and placing it in a secure, blessed location. Father Perez agreed to take Annabelle to his church, where she would be locked away and protected from those who might unwittingly unleash her evil. With Annabelle gone, Mia and John finally found peace. Their child was born healthy, and the house was once again filled with laughter and light. But the legend of Annabelle lived on, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can hide behind the most innocent of faces. To this day, Annabelle remains locked away, watched over by those who understand the danger she poses. Visitors come from far and wide, drawn by curiosity and fear. Some say they have seen her move or heard her whisper their names. Others report nightmares after gazing into her eyes. But one thing is certain: Annabelle is no ordinary doll. She is a vessel for something ancient and malevolent, a warning that evil can take many forms. And sometimes, it wears the face of innocence. So, if you ever come across an old porcelain doll with a haunting gaze, remember the story of Annabelle. Treat her with respect and never, ever invite her into your home. For some objects are best left undisturbed, their secrets buried in the shadows where they belong.